Hello everyone, my name is Tatiana Trukina. I'm an account manager of VTrust Inspection Service, and today I'll be giving you a webinar on the topic how to ensure trust and guarantee at every step while dealing with your supplier. Well, as an inspection company with more than 15 years in product quality, VTrust has a large experience in product quality, supplier assessment, testing, certification. And sometimes on the trade shows, you would meet me or my colleagues, and you as a buyer would ask how to make sure that my product's quality that I'm sourcing from the Asian countries will be a good one. And how to make sure that my future supplier is not a fraud one. So during this webinar, we will be mainly answering these key questions. I hope we'll provide you with detailed answers on how to ensure your product's quality. And if you have any other questions, you can write to me to my email address. It is tatiana@vtrust.com. You would see it at every slide of our presentation. So let me just share a presentation with you. I would like also to notice that this webinar would be held in two parts. Right now we'll be presenting the first part, which is called Essential Steps of Controlling Your Product's Quality. And there will be also another part, which will be mainly focused on how to supervise your product during production. So let's begin. I know and I've heard that there are many buyers and many importers who are just coming to the trade shows or sourcing online the products. So they would meet the supplier, they would look at the sample, they will get a good quotation, and they will think that on this step their sourcing process is already finished. However, already during the first orders and during the first shipments, they will understand that they received poor quality products, there are some shipment delays, there is a disregard of their requirements and mutual misunderstanding with the supplier. Of course, it will result in large losses, the delays, and so on. So it will be a big headache for you as a buyer and for the supplier because he's a manufacturer. So in order to deal with these problems and first in order to avoid these problems, I would recommend you to monitor your production from the beginning to the end. So starting from the sourcing stage, when you're just getting to know your future supplier and when you're just confirming your order and confirming the sample, you should check your product's quality during the production, when the production is already completed, and even at the delivery stage. So today we will be focused mainly on essential steps during your sourcing process. We'll be covering the sourcing stage, the placing order stage, and when the order is already completed. In the second part of our webinars, I will explain to you how to supervise your product's quality at every step of your production and already when the product is completed and being delivered. Let's move to the first step of the sourcing process. It's getting to know your future supplier. So here, your main goal is to understand who is your supplier and to understand what is your supplier's capability. Well, in many cases, as I already said, the buyers, they would find their suppliers at the trade show or at the trading platforms such as Alibaba.com or MadeInChina.com. Well, they will find the supplier and they will be already talking about the price and confirming the quotation and so on. But I would like to tell you that you shouldn't just believe all the information that is written at the trading platforms or which is written in the company's profile. You better know that the suppliers, they pay to be listed at the factory, at the trade shows list, and they pay to be listed at the trading platforms. They are not screened, and they are not checked to be suitable specially for you. So you shouldn't build your credit to this supplier just on these factors. Of course, you have to be checking your supplier by yourself. And here are some solutions that you could maintain, that you could do in order to check your supplier. First, it's very easy. You could run a background check online, and I will show you how. The second thing, you could visit your supplier by yourself. And the third thing, you could conduct the factory audit by inspection company. So let me show you how to run a simple background check online on your supplier. So, for example, you are trying to look at your supplier online. And first, for example, if I'm a buyer and I do not know many suppliers, so I will just go on Alibaba.com, it's a trading platform, and I will try to source some kind of product. For example, if I'm willing to be developing in the home appliances sphere, I would be looking for some home appliances product. For example, if I'm sourcing toaster, I could just search toaster at Alibaba.com, and here you could already see as a buyer that there are many different products to be choose from, and there are also many different suppliers, as you can see here. Some of them have a very long experience in the business, in the production. Some of them do not work for so long, like here, for 3 years. Let me show you. Maybe we can just choose a random supplier and look at their profile. So as you can see here, this is some sandwich toaster, and this is the supplier, Ningbo Tianzuo Electric. So here will be some product details on this supplier. There will be some company profile. As you can see here, they even have some information about the production capacity, R&D capacity, trade capacity, and so on. But this looks kind of strange. Of course, it will be the real numbers will be not like this, because the suppliers cannot produce the products for all of the markets. Of course, there will be some target markets for some suppliers, such as, for example, there are some suppliers who are working just with America, or just with Europe, or just with Western Europe. There are some suppliers who are targeting African countries, and they're, of course, providing a better price for African clients and so on. But you should understand that you as a buyer, better to find the supplier which is more suitable for you. So that supplier would know the requirements for your market, the requirements for your country. Their product will be compliant with your market standards and so on. So when you're just checking the supplier, and you can check it, yes, on the trading platforms like Alibaba or Made in China. Also, another thing that I would recommend you to do is just checking their profile. Here you can see that this supplier is a manufacturer. Dealing with a manufacturer, of course, will be much easier for you. And if this manufacturer is exporting, he has an exporting license. yes, that means that this manufacturer is already familiar with the business and with exporting products, and it will be much less trouble for you. So, for example, here you can see that the year of this company's establishment was 2009. Sometimes the suppliers they lie, and sometimes they're saying that they're in business already for 30 years, or they're in business already for 15 years, and actually they just established their company 2 or 3 years ago. So you need to check the business license of the supplier. And here's one thing that I would like to share with you. Also, how to check um, the actual business history of the supplier and business time. For example, you can go to the contacts, and you can just copy their website, and you can check their domain. Whois.com is a website where you can check the domain registration time of the of this supplier. For example, we're checking this website, and as you can see here, the registration date is 2010, while on the Alibaba, they were claiming that they are in the business since 2009. So what it is actually telling you that this website was registered in 2010, so the company is already running for 80 years. Sometimes the suppliers will be saying that they are working already for 30 years, and when you actually check their website, the website was registered like 2 years ago or 3 years ago. Let me go back to the presentation. So a quick background check, of course, will provide some information for you about your supplier, but also there are other solutions on how to know your supplier better. The second the second solution that I would suggest for you, it is to visit your supplier by yourself. Well, this can actually help you first to verify that the supplier is not a trading company with just 2 people in the office. It will help you to understand the actual production capacity of the supplier, and yes, it will also help you to understand that the company is not a fraud one. You can make sure that this production and this supplier, he knows your market requirements and your national standards that your product should be complied to. And last but not least, visiting supplier by yourself will help you to establish a connection between you and supplier and a good relationship, which of course will be just benefiting both of you. But sometimes, of course, you will not have all the time to visit all of your potential suppliers, because it might be too many of these suppliers, or maybe they will be too far. It will be in a big cost of money and time. So you could also consider to conduct a factory audit by inspection company. And here I would like to share some advantages of that, because the advantages is that the factory audit would enable you to collect more thorough information, such as companies' business licenses, export licenses, the production capacity, the research and development capacity, the quality control system of the supplier, and so on and so forth. Also, it will help you to evaluate the supplier according to international quality and compliance standards. As well, it will help you to have some business data on the supplier from the different governmental databases. And also, it will help you to understand whether the supplier is capable of the cooperation with you. And here is one of the examples of a factory audit. by our company, by VTrust. Here you can see the general overview that our inspector will be checking the factory profile, human resources, foreign trade capacity, production, quality control, and so on. And here I just would like to show you, to give you a quick look on this supplier assessment report. As you understand that the factory audit provides you with a full picture on your supplier. So there will be some basic remarks, there will be some strengths and weaknesses of this supplier. There will be also some suggestions how the supplier could improve his situation. And then it will be, of course, a score that this supplier gets according to the international standards. And very detailed information on the profile, such as legal validity, like business information, power supply, human resources. The main things, of course, are the foreign trade capacity, the main markets that this supplier is working with. For example, here the supplier is producing glass water cups for Europe, America, and China. As you can see here, that the main markets for this supplier is Europe, America, and China. There is also some information about production capacity, the production line, and so on and so forth. Let me go back to the presentation. And for your information, already on these steps of the factory audit, we as an inspection company, we would meet many different situations of how to check whether the company is already fraud one. So already on this way, on this step, during the supplier assessment, some fraudulent companies will be very difficult to get in contact with. If you will be in contact with them, they will be very unwilling to provide some information about their company. They will be unwilling to provide the detailed address or phone numbers, or even they will not show up for the audit. So you better to know that there are some frauds still in the business, and you need to watch out, and you need to select the suppliers carefully, so you will not have much losses in your business. So now we are moving to the second step of your sourcing process. It is placing order and sample confirmation. The main thing that you need to do here is to provide an understanding to your supplier what is your ideal product. So in the most cases, the buyers will just come to the trade fair, to the trade show, and they will just choose a sample that they would see at the booth. However, I would say it is also kind of risky for you as a buyer, and it does not mean that the whole bulk production will be as good as this sample that you just saw at the trade fair. Why? Because it leaves much of room for misinterpreting and misunderstanding with your supplier. So in order to get a good quality bulk production, you need to provide them with an idea of what is your perfect product, which is acceptable by your company, and what is your example of a defective product, which will be not accepted by your company, and which you would not like to source and to get at your country. Apart from the confirming appearance and workmanship, you also need to agree on the certain marking, on the certain packing of the product. You need to make sure that the product is safe from the some hazardous elements, and also you need to make sure that this product that you will be sourcing will be compliant to the standards of the market that you will be importing to. For example, if I was a buyer and I would be sourcing some product such as fidget spinners, you can see here at the slide. I would make sure to my supplier the appearance, for example, the material of this fidget spinner. Is it a plastic one or metal one? What is inside? I will make an internal check. I will write down all of the kinds of materials, and I will make sure how the product looks like. Also, I will make sure that my packaging is strong enough, so my product will be not it will be not destroyed or damaged during the shipment. I will make sure that my product is safe to use, and I will make sure that my product is compliant to the standards. Because, for example, this fidget spinner, it is a toy, and if I would like to import it to the European countries, I would need to make a test for EN71. It is a kind of testing for toy products to be imported to Europe. If I would like to import this product to US market, I would make ASTM testing and so on. So you as a buyer should understand and the importance of this step, and you should provide a clear understanding to your supplier what are your expectations of this product. Also, I would like to highlight that it is better to make a certain checklist for the product, and to write down some tests that this product should pass when it will be already fully manufactured. And also you should write down and make clear the defects that are not acceptable for you as a buyer. So already before the mass production, your supplier would know what are your expectations for this product quality. And so you would make clear what you would like to get, and if there will be any problems later, at least you will have some proof that you had such requirements and the supplier did not meet them. There are some certain sheets or some certain ways of how to confirm the sample. For example, for the electrical electronic products, such a thing is called the product specification, or CDF, the component data form. It is kind of a map of your product, which shows what kind of materials should be used, what kind of components should be used to produce this product. There will be some parameters, as you can see. Yes, and also there will be some materials. You can write down the materials, the properties of your product. So like this, by providing this CDF to your supplier, or by confirming the CDF of your supplier, you are telling clearly the supplier your requirements. For example, what happens usually, that the buyers, they are just confirming the product because they like it, they like how it looks like, but actually when they are getting this product, the electrical product, it looks the same, but inside there are different components, because the supplier, he changed the components to a cheaper one. Like this, he saved the cost for himself, but he sold the product as per the price that you agreed before. So in the end, you would receive a good looking product with much poor quality, and of course it will be not acceptable by you as a client. So in order to avoid such situation, you better to confirm the CDFs before the mass production. And the same kind of thing for the textiles and toys and some furniture product is called a tag pack. It also shows the product map, but here the supplier, the clients, the buyers, they usually provide the exact material that should be used to create this product, to make this product. So we can move to the next step. The main thing, as I already told you, that it is crucial to confirm your product sample. Oh, also one thing that I would like to highlight, Why these two things, CDF and the TACPAC, are so useful for you? First, because it will help you to make one kind of standard for all of your suppliers. So it will make your product and your production and your supply process more organized, because you will have the same kind of standards for all of your suppliers. And the second thing, you would get the final quotation according to all of the details that you mentioned in your product specifications already when you're confirming the sample. But here's also one thing that I would like to mention, that if your product is a new technology one, kind of the innovative product, I would not recommend to provide them with the updated version of a TACPAC or FCDF. And when you are just choosing the suppliers, give them the older version of the TACPACs and product sheets, because of the intellectual property. Of course, you will not choose all 15 or 30 suppliers that you are asking the quote from. But in the end, you will be choosing only one or two suppliers. So to make sure that the suppliers, those that you did not choose, they will not kind of steal your new ideas, you better to first give them the older versions of your TACPAC, just to know the level of the suppliers. And also I would recommend you to sign up the non-disclosure agreement with all of the suppliers that you are providing the TACPACs and CDFs to. So now we can move to the next step. When your product is already manufactured and produced, for example, when it is already 100% manufactured, you as a buyer would like to check the product's conformity to all of your requirements. For example, during the production, if you'll be checking mostly product and some of the workmanship defects. But this kind of check, when the product is already ready, is called pre-shipment inspection, and you could do it by yourself, or you could hire the inspection company to help you to check the product. This kind of inspection is made randomly on a certain sample size, and it is focused not only on the actual quality of the product. It is focused on many different details of your product, such as quantity, such as function check, such as on-site tests, marking, labeling, carton status, the packing, and so on. So it will also provide you with a full understanding on what your product is looks like, and what you will get in the end when the product will arrive to you. This is the example of pre-shipment inspection report that our company made. So this is the product, a toaster. Our company, we were checking the toaster, and here you can see the inspection summary that we were checking for this product. So mainly it is included the quantity check, the workmanship, on-site test, specification, packing, marking, labeling, and your own requirements. So let me show you just the report. The report itself. It is here. So the report will be very detailed. And as you can see here, there will be some of the defects that you found yourself, or your inspection company found during the inspection. So here you can understand that the result of the inspection was fail because the defect rate was beyond the standard, the quality standard. So we found two critical defects. 2 major defects and 6 minor defects. Also, as you can see here, the user manual was not confirmed to the one that client provided. The actual unit weight was beyond the tolerance of 5%, and so on. And here you can see we are also checking the CDF of this product because it's electrical one. So we are actually opening the product and we are doing internal check to make sure that those components that were used in the sample, when that sample that you were confirming and checking, that those components are the same in the whole of your bulk production. As you can see here, there was a heating wire which did not conform to the CDF. There was no mark on the heating wire. And here I will show you some of the defects that we found. So the high pot test for this product was fail for 2 pieces. The critical defect is the defect that could possibly harm the health of the client or of the user. So if we find any critical defect, like 1 defect, it means that this product is not used. It's not safe to use, and it is better not to import such kind of products back to your country, because you will have lots of returns, and it is actually not safe to use. So there was also an obvious gap for the toaster, which is major defect. There are also some scratch marks, and here are the pictures of the defects that we found. Here the high pot test was failed for 2 pieces of this product. As you can see here, there is an obvious gap. And while receiving such a report from the third-party inspection company, you as a buyer, you can decide whether you still want to import this quality goods, or if you want to stop the shipping process, and if you would like to rework all of the goods at your supplier's side. So as you can see here, there are some dirt marks, some scratches on the product. And we'll be also doing some on-site tests. As I already mentioned, when you are just confirming the sample, you need to make a certain checklist. Or when you're hiring the inspection company, you need to ask for a checklist to confirm for the upcoming inspection. So in Vitrust, we have the checklists designed especially for each product category. For example, for this toaster, we will be doing, as you can see here, 21 tests. And these tests are some safety tests or function tests that have to be done for the electronic products to make sure that they are safe to use, and so on. And there will be also some tests for you as a buyer to know, for example, some fatigue tests, stability, the pull tests, abnormal tests, and so on. We'll be also checking the product specifications, the packing, marking and labeling, and yes. And here are some pictures that you can see for the product. So we as an inspection company, we're not just checking electronic products, we are checking many different kinds of products. And here are some defects that we found within some inspections. As you can see here, this is a plastic chair. It's a kind of a toy for children. And here you can see the sharp edge. which could be possibly a critical defect because this product is a toy and it can harm a child, and of course you as a buyer would not like to your product to have such a defect. Here you can see the color shade here, and here you can see the hole on the product on the sweater. It is a major defect. Here it is also here it is a minor defect because it affects just the way your product looks like. It affects the product appearance. And here you also can see this is also major defect because the function is off for this kind of headphones. These are some pictures from that I made from our inspection report. This is a blender, and it failed the high pot test. As you already know, it is a safety test for electrical and electronic products. If we find one piece that failed such kind of testing, it means that this product is not safe to use. And here you can see that 4 pieces of the product failed the high pot test. And you as a buyer should consider whether you should import these products or not, should not import these products to your country. And this product is a toy. You can see here some broken stitches on the cape. Oh, I'm sorry. It will be a major defect because it is a workmanship defect for the product. So this is basically all. Yes, if you have any questions for the about this webinar, or just about quality control, about sample confirmation, or maybe about our services such as inspections, factory audit, supplier assessment, testing and certification, you can contact me at tatiana@vitras.com, or you can call me or add me in Skype. Thank you very much for your attention. And there will be the second part of this webinar, which is mostly about how to make sure that your product is produced well and how to supervise your product during production.